Hello, for consideration today we have Planning and Zoning Permit 21-516-22, Harbor Management Group LLC, Commercial Cannabis Business Retail Special Use Permit SUP for the project address located at 2150 Trabajo Drive. For the Planning Commission hearing on August 5th, 2021, this is Jose Coyle, Associate Planner and Case Planner for this Special Use Permit 21-516-22. The project description. A request to permit the operation of a commercial cannabis retail facility within a proposed 4,131 square foot commercial retail suite of an 18,296 square foot industrial building on a 2.79 acre site. In accordance with Section 16-651 of the Oxnard City Code, OCC, the applicant is seeking administrative parking relief to reallocate parking based on new exclusive uses and hours of operation between the two buildings within the industrial property. As part of the project, there will be a tenant improvement consisting of the installation of new partition walls, security upgrades to the existing building, minor plumbing upgrades, upgrades to an existing fire alarm system, and installation of secure doors and windows. Cannabis retail operations will be conducted between the hours of 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily. The application was filed by John Moeller on behalf of the applicant team. Project location. The subject site is located at 2150 Trabajo Drive, which is located on the northeast corner of the city boundary. Adjacent to the site is Highway 101 to the north, and to the east is the county line. The general plan and zoning maps. The general plan land use designation and the zoning designation are both business and research park identified as BRP. Existing site. The project site, located at 2150 Trabajo Drive, has the following surrounded uses identified in this table. The project site is located within the BRP general plan and zoning designation. The existing land use is an industrial building. To the north, the identification again is BRP for both the general plan and the zoning designation, and the existing land use is a church and industrial building. To the south, the general plan designation changes to industrial light, ILT, and the zoning designation of limited manufacturing plan development, M1 PD, with an existing land use of agricultural fields. To the east, there is a general plan designation of industrial light, ILT, with a zoning designation of BRP. The existing land use is agricultural fields. To the west is a zoning designation and a general plan of BRP, and the current existing land use is multi-tenant industrial buildings. Existing conditions. This is a street view looking northeast at the project site. As can be seen, the project is located within an established industrial center, encompassed of appropriate parking, landscaping, as well as a two-story building. Background, development history. On December 4th, 1985, the Planning Commission approved Special Use Permit SUP number 1144 for the construction of two light industrial buildings with a combined gross floor area of 47,924 square feet. This was encompassed by two buildings. Building 1, 29,628 square feet, and Building 2, 18,296 square feet. Then on August 5th, 2004, the Planning Commission approved Special Use Permit number 04-512-04 to allow church services and related uses in a multi-tenant building and modify the sign program for two existing buildings on the same site. Special Use Permit number 04-520-04 also allowed for administrative parking relief by the use of shared parking between buildings 1 and 2 to meet church assembly parking requirements. The established shared parking agreement established 134 total parking spaces and established a set of exclusive uses based on hours of operation between buildings 1 and 2. Church assembly uses were conditioned to occur on weekends and on weekdays after 6 p.m. in order to accommodate required parking for Building 2's industrial uses. Background, development history continued. And most recently, on June 30th, 2021, the Community Development Director approved Development Design Review, DDR, permit numbers 20-215-03 and 20-215-04 to allow the operation of a commercial cannabis distribution facility and a commercial cannabis manufacturing facility type 6 the manufacturing using non-volatile solvents, or performing extractions using mechanical methods within an existing 3,496 square foot area. This area was made up of 1,662 square feet for distribution area and 1,834 square feet for manufacturing area of cannabis products of an existing 18,296 square foot industrial building. Background: Cannabis Regulations. On April 2018, the City Council adopted a cannabis delivery ordinance, including permit fees, Ordinance Number 2937, Chapter 11, Article 15. In January 2019, the state legalized cannabis delivery by state licensed firms and eliminated the city's ability to regulate cannabis delivery. On June 18th, 2019, City Council adopted Ordinance Number 2960, establishing regulations pertaining to manufacturing, testing, and distribution of cannabis. On October 1st, 2019, City Council then adopted Ordinance Number 2965, modifying discretionary permitting process along with other non-substantive ordinance adjustments pertaining to manufacturing, testing, and distribution of cannabis. On September 15, 2020, City Council adopted Ordinance 2985 to update the cannabis regulations in the city's newly adopted Industrial Code, Chapter 16 of the Oxnard City Code, OCC. Cannabis regulations continued. On December 1st, 2020, City Council adopted Ordinance Number 2994, establishing regulations to repeal and readopt the former city's commercial cannabis regulations pertaining to cannabis manufacturing, distribution, testing, and retail dispensaries contained in Chapter 11, Article 17 of the Oxnard City Code, the Code. Commercial cannabis selection process. On January 7, 2021, Harbor Management Group, LLC filed for a request to obtain a commercial cannabis business permit for cannabis retail. On March 1st, 2021, Harbor Management Group, LLC was awarded a conditional commercial cannabis business permit for cannabis retail. In order to successfully commence and inaugurate the commercial cannabis business permit, Harbor Management Group, LLC is required to receive approval of a special use permit as specified within Oxnard City Code Section 11-457. This is the site plan for the project on the ground level floor plan. As can be seen, to the north of the building is where the retail area is going to be taking place. This is outlined here in the green. The major components of this include a secure lobby area where people will be pre-screened, then moved on to the lounge area where it's a secure site with two doors, one leading to the retail dispensary area and one leading back out to the main entry. Circulation of customers will be provided first by the lobby, then into the lounge, and then when accessible and appropriate, will be dispensed onto the retail dispensary floor sale area. And then once those items have been purchased, the customer will then exit through the dispensary exit and then make their way back out through the main lobby. Other components of this include on the back of house for employees, which is a delivery fulfillment area, a dispensary management office, several vault areas and product receiving areas, as well as an inventory control area, and a security facility on site, which will store multitudes of product, as well as a storage along the back here. To the site for the delivery and offloading of products, it will be handled through a truck dock that is currently on the site and is accessible to the northeast part of the building. This is a look at the second level floor plan. The main component of this will be that it's open to below, it's accessible through the main lobby, and that the only use currently allowed on the site that's potentially going to happen is administrative offices. No cannabis retail operations will occur on the second floor. This is just for illustrative purposes. Floor plan and security plan. The applicant provided a security plan with a detailed floor plan, which was reviewed and conditionally approved by the police department. Security measures include: private security is required at the property. Security cameras will be installed. Adequate lighting will be provided on site. Cannabis products will be monitored, tracked, and placed in secure storage. Administrative parking relief request. The site was previously approved for administrative parking relief through the approval of shared parking agreement as part of Special Use Permit 04-520-04. The project includes an amendment to the existing shared parking agreement, resulting in a request for a new administrative parking relief request. Applicants submitted a parking study prepared by Associate Transportation Engineers, which was reviewed and accepted by the city's traffic engineer. The proposed shared parking agreement establishes 140 total parking spaces and establishes that a set of exclusive uses based on hours of operation between Building 1, which is located at 2500 Camino Avenue, and Building 2, which is 2150 Trabajo Drive. Administrative parking relief breakdown. Essentially, the shared parking agreement is based on two sort of uses. One that takes place between 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. weekdays, and then the other outlined here to the right of this table is weekdays after 5 p.m. and weekends, Saturday and Sunday. The parking breaks down in the following. To the left, for weekday uses between the hours of 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., cannabis retail is subject to 1 parking space per 250 square feet, or as stipulated in a city traffic engineer approved parking study. Based on the parking study submitted to the city, the adjusted parking spaces was capped at 30. The office parking that needs to be located at the site for the requirements are 1 parking space per 250 square feet of gross floor area. Based on the parking study, the adjusted parking spaces were found to be 24. Industrial warehousing is required to have 1 parking space per 1,000 square feet of gross floor area for the first 20,000 square feet devoted to warehousing, plus required parking for gross floor area devoted to other uses, and 1 parking space per 2,000 square feet for the second 20,000 square feet. Based on the parking study, the adjusted parking spaces were identified as 5. Light industrial manufacturing, 1 parking space per 500 square feet of gross floor area devoted to manufacturing, plus the required parking for gross floor area devoted to other uses. Based on the parking study, the adjusted parking spaces were found to be 11. The total required parking spaces on weekdays between the hours of 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. was found to be 70 based on the parking study submitted to the city out of the 140 parking spaces that are currently at the site. Moving on to the right side of the table, weekdays after 5 p.m. and weekends, which include Saturday and Sunday, cannabis retail is again subject to 1 parking space per 250 square feet, or as stipulated in a city traffic engineer approved parking study. With the parking study submitted, the adjusted parking spaces required are 30. The church assembly, 1 parking space per 5 seats within a main auditorium, or 1 space per 35 square feet of gross floor area. Where pews or benches are provided, 1 space required for every 10 feet of pew or bench. The adjusted parking spaces were identified as 67. That means that the total parking on weekends between Saturday and Sunday and weekdays after 5 p.m. was identified as 97 of the 140 parking spaces. Here we have a parking plan for weekdays from, again, the hours of 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Based on the uses that were identified. The blue here highlights the light industrial manufacturing parking that would basically be taking place, which is 11 parking spaces. In the middle with the purple, we have office parking spaces, which were identified as 24 needed based on the parking study, which take up that amount that is clearly seen here in the boundary of the purple line area. The yellow denotes the industrial warehousing parking that's required, which is 5 parking spaces. And then on the green here of the box, we have 30 parking spaces that are for the required cannabis retail parking as stipulated in the parking study. As can be seen, there's still a wide range of surplus of parking all around the site. Moving on to the parking plan for weekdays after 5 p.m. and weekends. As can be seen here, the retail component, the cannabis retail parking, is still at 30, and it will be there will be a parking area located adjacent to the main doors. And then the church assembly parking area needs to be 67 parking spaces, which is identified here in this red square. As can be seen, there's still a surplus of parking even on the weekends and weekdays after 5 p.m. Public comments. This project is not located within an existing neighborhood. Therefore, a community workshop was not held for this proposal. To date, staff has not received any public comments regarding this project. Key conditions of approval. Condition number 14, 40, and 41 abide by the City of Oxnard and State of California's rules and regulations related to this business. Condition 37, the commercial cannabis business permit shall expire and be subject to the renewal process in Chapter 11 of the Oxnard City Code 12 months after the date of issuance of an SUP pursuant to the Oxnard City Code Section 11-459. Retail operation conditions. Conditions 57 and 59 and 132 and 133 provide regulatory action of cannabis-related procedures to allow only eligible members of the community to purchase product and allow for a secure selling environment. Police conditions. Broad range conditions between conditions 80 to 150 are secure features will be implemented as required by the adopted cannabis ordinance. Key conditions of approval continued. Fire department conditions. Conditions 151 to 170. This broad range of numbers indicates that the system is to be designed to be a safe facility. Community benefits and community relations. Conditions 47 to 50 and 62 and 63. The project is conditioned to be a good neighbor and member of the community. Taxes and inventory tracing. Conditions 51 and 52, 64 and 72. These set of conditions help the operator be a responsible corporate citizen. The environmental review. In accordance with Section 15301, Class 1 existing facilities of the State California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, guidelines, projects involving negligible or no expansion of use beyond that existing at the time of the lead agency's determination may be found to be exempt from the requirements of CEQA. The project includes a request for the operation of a cannabis retail facility within an existing industrial building, and the project will not increase the square footage of the existing building. No substantial evidence the project will have significant effects on the environment. A notice of exemption will be filed. Staff recommendation that the Planning Commission A, find the project to be categorically exempt from the environmental review pursuant to California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, Guidelines Section 15301, existing facilities, and B, adopt the draft resolution 21- approving planning and zoning permit 21-516-22, retail special use permit of cannabis, subject to certain findings and conditions. This concludes staff's presentation.